You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel alright. The kind you wanna stay up with all night. You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel whole. They won't leave your side when you lose control. The ones that don't let you lose your soul.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's podcast. I'm Josh Vietti. I'm here with Nicole Dickey, Pastor Ron Vietti, Vincent Sierra, and we are the Off the Mountain crew, and we're with you guys for the next 6 or 7 hours. No, probably not, but no, we usually go about an hour, but this is going to be an interesting one, and I say interesting because we have been talking about interesting things before the podcast, but we really don't have a direction, and I love that. I actually enjoy that because we might get into a corner, into a dark, weird corner today, and talk about some stuff like I don't know.
Oh, we will.
Aliens.
We will go down maybe a couple rabbit holes. But I will talk in a few minutes about NASA, a NASA-sponsored thing where pastors and theologians were all brought together some time ago to talk about this. So wouldn't surprise me if there's truth in this, but we're going to be talking today about aliens again and UFOs, and probably the demonic realm.
There he is.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. But the reason we're talking about it today, I know we had a broadcast on this same topic, a year and a half, or I don't know what, maybe we've been going 2 years?
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think we want to revisit it because of the release of the UFO files the last few days.
Yeah,
did you look at these files? Did you see some of the information they released and some of the videos?
No,
You didn't look?
No, because if I'm at home and I am just scrolling on the internet, my wife is like, "What are you doing?" And usually that means there's a lot of other things to do. So no, I don't get it. I don't get a chance to do that.
You're well trained,
which is fine. Hey, look, I mean, at the end of the day, she's constantly working and doing stuff, and I do enjoy sitting on the couch. That's kind of like my pastime. And so I watched 2 games last night. I watched the baseball game, and I watched the basketball game at the same time, which is kind of hard to do.
Who won? The Dodgers win?
No,
they lost again.
No, they're
terrible right now.
But this is what the Dodgers do, right? Like they start off real strong, then everyone gets hurt, and they play terrible in the middle of the season, and then they pick it back up.
Ohtani can't hit right now.
Hopefully win the World Series.
He's horrible.
Yeah, he's not doing good.
Horrible. I've never seen him this bad.
Yeah.
I think he's concentrating on the pitching.
He's pitching well, but yeah, he's just not hitting good.
Nikki goes, "What in the heck are you guys talking about?"
Well,
what about the
from one thing to another?
Okay, Vince, you're a big NBA guy. Is anybody going to beat Oklahoma?
I don't think so. They're going to win it. There's too many people hurt this NBA season. There's a lot of teams that are missing players.
Who's a runner-up? Who could upset Oklahoma?
It looks like New York Knicks would probably be.
Detroit any good?
Detroit, are they already knocked off? Are they gone?
Yeah, they're gone.
Oh, they're gone.
I think they're gone.
Yeah.
That shows how much I pay attention. I just wanted to watch. I thought last night was LeBron's last game, and Vince was saying,
"No, he'll probably play one more year."
So
he's playing good. I mean, he still has it. He
moves quick.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you get a lot of guys with ADHD or ADD. We do this.
What are we talking about?
None of us have been officially diagnosed, but I think we probably all kind of have it.
Yeah.
We're known for this. I'm known for this when I preach sometimes and teach. I get off on a tangent and go a little different direction, but that's okay. That's okay.
Isn't it crazy that the government has a website? It's war.gov/UFOs. Like if I would have told you that 10 years ago, would you have said that's real?
No. But yeah, I don't know, man. Nothing is a surprise anymore, you know? Nothing.
Well, let's go back.
It's Tower of Babel times.
I mean, Nikki, Vince, you didn't look at these files?
Oh, no, I looked at them.
What was your impression? What was your impression?
Well, it was really, really interesting. I looked at them with my kids. It was funny on Mother's Day. We hijacked Mother's Day for about an hour, and we were at Mexican food, and we had a whole conversation. And Hannah hates talking about aliens.
Really?
It's like the worst. She's just like,
Why?
you guys are so weird. But we were talking about it on Mother's Day, and my kids were super intrigued. They didn't know the government files got released, and my kids were laughing because they said the waiters were like hovering over our table listening to our conversation about UFOs and aliens. But yeah, some of it was like from all it goes back to like the Apollo 17 missions, and then some of it's like really, really recent. But I think what shocked me overall, and we were talking about it over lunch, was just the fact that they even released it. You have a saying. You always say the cat's on the roof. Right. And what does that mean? You have to explain what that means.
Real quickly, because I thought the same thing as you did.
Yeah.
I thought what they're doing, they're doing the cat's on the roof and won't come down. And I think you guys have already heard it. I'll say it one more time.
Yeah.
Because I refer to it a lot because I think it is a philosophical idea.
Mm-hmm.
A guy, again, he goes on vacation. Forgive me if you've already heard this. And he leaves his cat with his brother. And while he's on vacation, his brother calls him and says, your cat died. Just want to let you know before you got home. And he goes, you said my cat died just like that. You just blurted it out. I mean, I cannot believe you. Now, you probably ruined my vacation. Do you get it? Just so stupid. Don't ever do that again. He said, well, what should I do? Well, you might say something like the cat's on the roof, and then say, we're trying to get it down, then wait another day or two and say, the cat's still on the roof, and then maybe after 4 or 5 days, I'm sorry, your cat died. He said, you got it? He said, I got it. So the next year he goes on vacation, and he calls home, how's everything going? He said, Mom's on the roof, and she won't come down.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're referring to.
Yeah.
Because I use it all the time. Debbie says, do the cat on the roof thing and kind of inform people a little bit at a time. Mm-hmm. So when you hit them with the real truth, they won't be shocked. Mm. So that's what we're referring to.
Yeah, so it's interesting because instead of releasing all the files, they released the first batch of files. It's one of 3 or one of 4 files, or one of 4 drops that they're supposed to do. And they say the next set of files that are coming out are even going to be more like, we're going to be shocked when we see them. And so it has me really interested on what they do know and what they don't know. A lot of people kind of thought that UAPs were government aircraft, that our government knew exactly what they were, and they were technology that we were using, and we didn't want anybody to know. And if that was the case, they wouldn't release the files, right? They would have said, we're not going to release the files because we don't want anybody else to know. So I truly believe they don't know what it is. Or if they do know, they're slowly leaking it out because they don't want us to panic.
Were you impressed by the videos? I wasn't.
I think I was impressed by a couple of the videos that seemed consistent. The ones, again, going back to like Apollo 17, where they were doing renderings more than they were showing files. But again, I think they're trying to put all these files together to tell a bigger story. Does that make sense? Like I think they're using all the data collectively to make us prepare us for what's to come, basically. So it's really, really interesting. It's really interesting that Barack Obama kind of pushed this forward.
I got some clips on that.
Yeah. He kind of started this whole thing, and then then President Trump felt like he was forced.
Well, let's just play the clips. Now, this is not professional, guys. I just took this off the air here. So listen to this right here.
Oh, your mute button. You have it just on the right. There you go.
What now?
Your mute button.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, let me try it again.
Comes to aliens, there are some things I just can't tell you on air.
Okay, that's interesting. There's something. Here's another one.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51.
Okay.
The last president.
Yeah.
So he says in the second one, he says
they're real.
They ask him, "Are they real?" on a podcast. He says, "Yes, they're real. I haven't seen them yet, but he said they're real." And the other one, he says, "There's things on the air I can't tell you about aliens." That's kind of got it started, or at least added fuel to the fire, right?
Well, then Trump came out, and Trump was asked immediately, hey, Barack Obama said that, that aliens could be real, or, they went into it, and President Trump was really upset, and he's like, he shouldn't have done that. You know, that's classified information. And he's like, but I will release the files. And so here we are. We're releasing files.
I looked at a lot of the videos, and these orb-like lights moving around, you know, it looks like what I do often when I play with a laser pointer. I put it in the wall, move it real fast. It has that same effect. It looks like a laser pointer, just somebody playing games with us with a big laser pointer moving it around. We're going, whoa.
It's funny that you mentioned the laser pointer, because part of me thinks, you know, when you think about UFO, you know, when you think about this stuff, you want to think, oh man, is there something else that exists? Is this real? Or is it the laser? You ever get a laser pointer and point it at the ground and your cat starts chasing it around?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like the government could also be doing that to us right now.
That's what I
That they're like, hey, look it over here, look it over here. And there's something completely else going on, but we're all fascinated with these files that we're not looking at.
Those orb-like lights just don't really, you know, do it for me.
Super interesting.
Now, that 8-point star object was kind of interesting, moving around and leaving some sort of vapor trail as it moved around. That just didn't look right.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the key question. Why are they doing this? Is there a reason behind this? That they're trying to get us all worked up about this? What do you think? Are they preparing us for something?
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason for this. I think more than just Trump saying, hey, I promised I'd do it, I'm doing it. I don't know. I think there's something going on behind the scenes.
So I had this thought this morning, and I think it ties in. You know, you used to say this all the time, Dad, and I think this is wisdom that got us through the last few thousand years. And the wisdom goes like this: if it walks like a duck, if it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck, right? And that wisdom got us up to this point. I mean, and you know, just the obvious is probably usually the case, right? Now, if it looks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it could be AI.
That's a good way to put it,
right?
Interesting.
And so we're living in this world right now that is all about deception. It's all about attention, first of all. Think about technology and what technology has done. Mm-hmm. Technology has gathered the world's attention and basically feeds us what it wants to feed us, right? And this is ran by people who possibly are ran by entities that are not people in my belief system. And so I think that, like, if there's a truth, like you said, Vince, like, over here on this side,
right?
Then there's obviously going to be a lot of distraction on this side, right? And so I think a lot of it has to do with the deception of many that the Bible talks about, how many will be deceived. I think that there's a lot of manipulation happening. I think there's a lot of crazy stuff happening, and then there might be some real things that people can't explain. But what do people in power want more than anything else? They want to stay in power, right? What do regimes want more than anything else? They want to rule. They want to be in charge. They want to be, so they're going to fight to keep their power. And then you have the spiritual forces, which we believe in, that are fueling that fight and bringing a lot of confusion into the mix. And so I think that it's all about deception. Now, this secret meeting with these pastors, I don't know much about it, but I just read about it a couple times. It seems like the pastors are more on the, like, super spiritual side. Like,
well, you know, I asked AI.
I thought that was odd.
Because I'd heard this rumor before this latest one. But this supposedly happened a year or two ago or something. But I asked AI, has NASA funded a program to train theologians about the discovery of aliens? Answer, yes. It says NASA founded a program for priests and pastors to assess how the world's major religions might react to discovering alien life. And this was some time ago. And they called them all together. I guess we didn't get invited. But.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get invited because we think for ourselves, you know. And I think that when it comes down to it, I'm not saying that these pastors don't, because I don't know who these guys are. But man, if you want to control the population, if you want to manipulate the population, you're going to go after spiritual
Why would they call the
leaders.
priests and theologians together if they?
Because
You think it's all part of the plot?
yeah, I do.
It's all part of the scheme.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I do. I think there's
It's interesting.
I think that the devil's smart, and I think that the way that he's going to deceive people is going to come through mostly the church.
Okay.
That's what I think.
So they're playing their cards in a very intelligent way.
That's what I think.
But here's another one. Now, I saw a podcast yesterday or day 4, and these guys were stumbling over themselves. These are scientists that they had on the podcast, or at least they were guys in the know. And the host was asking him, what about this UFO spacecraft? Supposedly in South Korea or somewhere that's so big they had to build around it. They can't move it. Size of a football field. And they're built around it. And these were guys pretty high up in the government. And they were stammering and stuttering, well, yeah, there is something like that. There, 2 or 3 places even. Where's it at? South Korea? Well, I can't say. Another guy's, well, it's South Korea. I would say that. I can't say, where it's at. But they built around it because it was too big to haul off. That again, I don't know what they're doing with that. And then here's the big one. Did you see what it last week? FBI's starting an investigation about the 11 or 12 scientists who have disappeared lately. Have you heard about that?
I have heard about that
Okay,
one.
let me give you a rundown.
that is
Let,
weird.
let me give you a rundown. Monica Riza, a NASA director who disappeared while hiking June 25th. William Neal
It's
McCaslin.
always while hiking, isn't it?
Okay, but no. William Neal McCaslin, retired Air Force commander in lab research, went missing on February 2026. Now, these are all 25 and 26. Carl Gritmar, who was shot to death on his front porch, February 2026. He worked with NASA. Jason Thomas, Novartis researcher, disappeared December 12, 25. Wife reported him missing when he did not come home. Plasma physicist and MT professor Nuno Loureiro shot to death December 16, 2025. Stephen Garcia, government contractor, left Albuquerque at his home. He left, and the family say he never came back. Melissa Casillas took her daughter to school and disappeared June 26. Anthony Chavez, lab guy, was last seen leaving home on foot. Search efforts were conducted. Amy Eskridge, now listen to this one, dies by suicide. Very attractive young lady. In Huntsville, Alabama, had worked for NASA. One of her friends had said, she told me, if I die by suicide, it's not true. I'm being targeted. Now, this is what they're investigating. I don't want to say exactly, but Trump said something similar to, it could be a coincidence, I don't know, but it warrants investigation. And there can be explanations of some of their deaths, but I know the FBI is investigating this. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, that's going on at the same time as all this other stuff.
I think when you would pick the safest profession, like being a lab tech would
Right.
feel like the safest profession, and then they just die. Like
As the kiddos say, that's sus.
That what?
right?
Sus.
That sucks?
No,
Sus.
sus.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what my
That's
son
what they
says.
say.
Suspicion.
That's what the kiddos say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Look at this. Okay, so I'm going to read you guys a passage from something. As I looked, behold, a stormy wind came out of the north, and a great cloud with brightness around it, and a fire flashing forth continually. In the midst of the fire, as it were gleaming metal. And from the midst of it came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had human likeness. Each had 4 faces. Each of them had 4 wings. Their legs were straight. The soles of their feet were like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like burnished bronze. Under their wings, on their 4 sides, they had human hands, and the 4 had their faces and their wings. Thus, their wings touched one another. Each one went straight forward without turning as they went. So you guys recognize
That's the high-ranking angels.
You
yes.
guys recognize
Yeah.
what I'm reading.
Right.
It's from the book of Ezekiel. But if I were to have opened that, if that were written on the government website, or if that were written in a book that I found in Barnes and Noble, we'd all laugh and say that's funny. Like, oh yeah, that's not real. You know what I mean?
It is written on the government website though.
Ezekiel?
Not Ezekiel, but there's a story just like that.
Really?
Where this pilot basically says, did you read that in the files, Pastor, this last weekend? That basically this pilot sees like three beings, and
So
explains them. It's pretty insane.
I have a theory that this deception that I'm talking about started thousands of years ago when they started creating art in the image of these angels and the image of the angels that we know of now. So like now, if you think about what an angel is, you go to the art museum in LA and there's all this art in the 1700s, 1600s, 1500s, 1400s.
I think I would use that word deception lightly though, because I don't think all this may be a deception.
Well, no. Here's the thing. I think that I'm not saying this is a deception.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
I'm saying that popular culture has been influenced over the past few thousand years to the point where people are going to be deceived. And my whole spiel right now is just to focus on the Bible, what it actually says, not what you've learned through media, not what you've learned through art, not what you've learned through culture.
Right.
Let's look at some
Which
verses.
is hard to do.
Ephesians 2:2 in NIV talks about the ruler of the kingdom of the air. Now look at that same verse in New Living Translation. The commander of the powers of the unseen world. And then Good News Translation, the ruler of spiritual powers in space. Whatever's going on, I believe Satan is the ruler.
Yeah.
He's calling the shots.
Right.
Whatever they are. You can call them aliens. J.D. Vance, our vice president, said he believes the aliens are demons. And I would tend to think that if they prove to be true, I think that could be good.
It's so funny. I'm just laughing because I'm thinking 5 years ago, I would not have wanted to have this conversation on a podcast.
Yeah, but look, our president's talking, our vice president, they're all
Things have
talking.
changed so much where it's like, this is just what people are talking about
It
now.
is crazy that there's a lot of things that are crazy. The fact that the government website actually exists, but J.D. Vance, what your dad just said, calling these aliens, he thinks they're demons. Like just to say that and just not think anything.
Yeah,
about,
he said it on Fox News.
Fox, that's like. He didn't say that just behind closed doors. He made a declaration. So
well, think
it's
about
really
Revelation 11. Okay, look at what's going on here. Revelation 19, verse 11. It says, "And I saw heaven open, behold, a white horse, and he who sat on him is called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he judges and wages war. And his eyes are a flame of fire, and upon his head are many diadems, and he has a name written upon him which no one knows except himself. He's clothed in a white robe dipped in blood." That's interesting. "And his name is called the Word of God. And the armies which are in heaven clothed in white linen," which we could be a part of that, "white and clean, are following him on white horses." Now look what happens. Verse 19. "And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies assembled to make war against him who sat on the horse and against his army." Do you think it's possible they're going to see him coming and go, it's AI? It's aliens. Not AI. We just use aliens.
Yeah.
But it's aliens coming, and we're going to make war against these aliens. I mean, it seems to set the stage well. And then in Luke 21 and Matthew 24, I mean, let's just take time to read those verses. If you want to say anything, I'm turning here, but Luke 21, and look at verse 25 and 26. "And there will be signs," this is about the last days, "in the sun and the moon and the stars, and upon the earth dismay among nations, in perplexity at the roaring of the sea and the waves, men fainting from fear and the expectation of things which are coming upon the world, and for the powers of the heaven will be shaken." And then you look at Luke 21, that was Luke 21, Matthew 24, basically the same thing. I won't read it, but there's going to be signs in the heavenlies. And then, of course, Ephesians 6:12, we know our battle's not against flesh and blood, principalities. So, I mean, we're in the last days, and Satan is cranking it up. In fact, the Bible seems to say he will.
That's where I get, I mean, honestly, when I hear about all this, it's like you try to fight the fear because part of you is just confused. Like, is this evil or could this be good? Could obviously the opposite of the demonic realm is we have angels and we have all this other stuff. And you see like Elisha in the scriptures where he's like, Lord, open my servant's eyes. And they were surrounded by the enemy. And then the servant sees that he's surrounded by the multitude of angels. Like, is this God letting us see the good? Is this God letting us see the bad?
I think you're bringing up something that most people are dealing with right now, and that's confusion.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What is this world we live in? Like, what is this, right? And fortunately, we have the Bible, right?
Yep, absolutely.
In 1 John 4, it says, "Do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets," okay? So it's talking about spirits. Then it's talking about false prophets, which I find interesting, have gone out into the world. "By this you know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God, and every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God." Right? So it could look like a duck, it could quack like a duck, it could talk like a duck, but if it ain't claiming Jesus, it ain't a duck. You know
Which
what I
we
mean?
have
And that's the
absolutely
thing. Like,
no knowledge of that happening. The stories that are being told, and I think most of them are just a bunch of bunk, but if there's any truth to them at all, these don't look like good beans. And but look at 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9 and 10, and that is the one who's coming in accord with the activity of Satan, with all power and signs and false wonders, and with all the deception of wickedness for those who perish because they did not receive the love of the truth so as to be saved. And then, the Bible does say that in the last days, and I think it's kind of similar to the context, or not similar to the context, but it can be used in the context of the rapture and all of that stuff. And it says that the world will believe a big lie.
I feel like we're so stupid that, like, if let's say a reptilian person or whatever these things are popped up and talked, right, and was like, "Hey, how's it going? I'm here," or whatever they say, we would try to make it into a reality show. Like, let's follow this guy around. You know what I mean? Like, that's how stupid we are. We'd be like, "Oh, he's gonna be on
what did you
Saturday
say?
night,
What did you
7
say
o'clock."
before the podcast began? Talking about Genesis. Talk about Genesis.
Remember, but
that was really good, actually.
Yeah. I was just talking. So, like, they talk about these reptile people or whatever.
They
but-
talked about aliens being reptilian.
Right.
Lizard people.
lizard people,
Yeah.
whatever you call them. And I was like, well, what was the first interaction with Satan in the Bible? He was a serpent,
A reptile.
a speaking serpent.
But then here's
which
my
is
question: like,
odd.
why was Eve not shocked?
Why were
Like,
they not? I know.
Why was she
Yeah.
not like, whoa, like a
Yeah.
snake is talking to me?
Yeah, it was like every day normal behavior. It was
Yeah,
like,
so
oh
could
yeah,
all
here
animals
comes
talk
here
in the
comes the
garden?
serpent.
Or,
What's up, serpent? Hey.
Yeah, that's a good point, Nikki.
I think the reason we call it a snake is because
Because it went on its belly.
of the curse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
But what did it look like before?
yeah, who knows? I mean, it could have been.
Beautiful creature, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I wasn't there.
we're looking at some of this stuff that's being said, and we go, that's just too far out there. I can't believe in that. But what about the Nephilim in the Old Testament in Genesis 6? I mean, some of our listeners maybe have never read Genesis 6. I mean, this is pretty crazy. It says, now it came about that when men began to multiply on the face of the land and the daughters were born to them, that the sons of God, now it changes the description there, the sons of God and the daughters of men are two different things. The sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves, whomever they chose. And then, of course, the Lord said, I'm not going to strive with man forever. And in verse 4, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men of old, renowned men. And they were giants. Now, I'm going to get off on something totally different here in a second. But, I mean, come on, talk about that.
Whatever it was.
Is that any more far-fetched than what we're hearing today?
Whatever it was so bad that God had to push the flood button. You know what I mean? And he said, we're going to start over.
Does he have some more of those
Fresh.
buttons maybe? beside flood button?
I don't know. I mean,
At least we know the flood button's been pushed.
the
We
weird
won't push it
thing,
again.
the weird thing about it is you got the Tower of Babel story after that too, and that story is so brief, but such an odd story to be put after the flood, because after the flood,
Is it though? Is it weird? Because
I
I was thinking
find
about
it
this the other day.
strange.
Like, if God flooded the earth,
Right.
you're like, we're gonna outsmart God, and we're gonna build a temple
Oh,
that
yeah.
He can't flood.
Oh yeah,
Do you
That's
know what I mean?
true.
So we'll survive.
That might have been
we will
connected, yeah.
survive His flood.
that's true.
We can outsmart God.
We can
True.
outsmart God.
You know,
yeah.
so they didn't
Yeah.
believe in they didn't get the
Right.
truth, and so they thought they could outsmart God.
Yeah.
So they built something that they thought that they
And
could
that
get
was
away from
interesting too, because it says in the Bible, there's a verse in there that says that something along the lines of, if we don't stop them now, like they can accomplish anything they set their minds to,
them. Right.
if they're unified.
Right.
And I brought that thought of the other day, and I said it to you and another guy. I said, is unity always a good thing? And no, of course it's not. And then biblically, unity can be bad too. And so what makes me nervous about all this, tying it back to what we're talking about today, is, are people going to unify and try to solve this problem on their own? You know what I mean? And say, we don't need God. But it sounds like whatever is happening in the world, the need for God is rising steadily. So, you got to be careful with where you lie your interests and your loyalties, I think, at this point.
Well, going back to what you said, the Bible says too that it's going to be so bad in the last days that if God didn't shorten the days, that no one would live through it.
Yeah.
And He has to shorten. And I think we're slowly getting there. But going back to our topic, it seems like all of a sudden this stuff is popping up all over the place, all these different things that I think might have to do with the last days. And these things intrigue me, and I could talk about them. Catalina Island, I didn't know this. Giants, yeah. Catalina Island. In their museum, they have
they had
displays.
giants and, yeah.
In Avalon, they have a museum.
I-
Nikki's
I-
looking at me
yeah,
like,
I told
Tell
you.
me
You
more.
did tell
I
me
have
this.
no
I
idea
remember
what
now.
you're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about.
Nikki's going, you're losing me.
Yeah.
But
I'm
these seven
intrigued.
foot to 9 foot giants, and supposedly all the Channel Islands, or a lot of them, have these same findings. They're supposedly they've dug up skeletons.
Well, they could wade across the ocean to California. Oh no, that's not true. That's not true. I mean,
And so
It is interesting that a lot of these UAPs are over oceans, like they're
Yeah.
over water.
it is weird.
Mm.
You're gonna see him.
now we're going to get into the Bermuda Triangle. Bermuda Triangle. We're
Oh
gonna-
man,
Vince is
Really?
going fishing out of San Diego, so he's gonna see him.
maybe.
Telling you.
It's interesting because we've made convenience a priority in our lives, and we fall to convenience. So I think one of the bigger things that, the way that we're deceived is, like, take the phone, for example. We all accept the phone, universally good, universally bad. There's good and bad in it, but we accept it because it's made our life easier. The fact that we can contact people, the fact that we can communicate rapidly, it's become convenient. And so we've chosen convenience over whatever else, the bad. We take the good with the bad. And I feel like that's the same thing with what's going on now. Like, if these aliens do, if people do exist in these UAPs and they come down and they offer convenience, I feel like most people would surrender to that convenience, because we have shown over and over again that we are okay with whatever it is, as long as it makes our life easier.
Well, the Bible talks about the worship of angels, and we're warned about it. And but go back to Catalina Island. I want to hear your thoughts about that. These 7 to 9 foot beings that they supposedly years back have dug up the skeletons of these beings with large skulls.
I think there's a museum there.
Yeah, there is.
And I think they're
There
on
is.
display, but I'm not 100%.
Well, there's pictures of them, I know. And again,
maybe it is
That's
pictures.
crazy.
they were supposed to have magical powers, sorcerers. And, but then here comes the, what I call these, what do I call these people that come against anything that would even hint of the miraculous or world that they don't believe in. If it's not protons, neutrons, electrons, they come against it. And now they're saying about this guy that dug up these remains on Catalina Island that He was an amateur archaeologist. So, in other words, what they're saying, he was an archaeologist that simply didn't go through school to get all the rules that we abide by. They would say about me, he's an amateur theologian. So all of his God stories don't count. It's just ridiculous. I get so fed up with these guys. But what do you think about the Channel Islands, and where did these 7 to 9 foot giants come from? And is there, you have any thoughts about those giants?
I'm just looking it up right now.
Oh, they're they're discrediting it. Most people say,
well, sure they
there's
are.
No credible
Sure
evidence
they are.
that the giants were even discovered.
Why wouldn't they?
And then that guy you said, Glidden, had a poor reputation among archaeologists. Claims tied to him.
That's what they
were
always do.
They always do that.
documented.
Maybe we should just start listening to all the people that have poor reputations. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, who has a bad reputation? Let's start listening to them because they.
But there's a lot of other sites that do agree. So we're getting the one because, and of course the museum at Avalon, I guess they think they at least put it out there in such a way that it could be, or probably would be, that I'm getting tight for words.
Listen,
here.
man. At the end of the day,
They probably believe in it.
At the end of the day, how does Catalina Island make money?
Yeah.
Tourism.
Well, that's true.
It's
true.
It's very true.
So that's another reason. Like
They are
it'd
also
be-
saying these human remains were mismeasured, like incomplete skeleton reconstruction, exaggerated bone construction.
But you expect that. That's going to happen with everything. Remember, we just did our apologetic class, and they're coming against anything that hints of something else that could prove the Bible and at least prove the supernatural. They don't like it. So, yeah, that's just garbage to me. I don't even listen to those people, but I don't listen to the other people either. I'm just going, it's food for thought, interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to go to Catalina Island now and see this museum and judge it for myself.
Well, it's like dinosaurs. You know, like we have 3D models of dinosaurs, and we have good structural evidence for bones. But you have we can only guess on what their internal organs look like and what their outsides look like. I mean, these are just guesses. This is not
Right.
it's not complete. I mean, people would say 100% this is what they look like, and again, it's just a guesstimation. They could have been different in color and stuff, and so
Yeah, I just, it's
yeah.
hard because, when I did the apologetic class, almost anything you bring up that would try to prove that the Bible's right, whether it be, the city of Jericho, I go on and on and on, there will be coming out of the woodwork all of these people telling you why none of that is true. And that's just the day we live in. You get attention by being the guy that says, I'll prove to you what you all were believing isn't true. You're always got the Shroud of Turin. Look at that thing. It's right on. No, we have proven that it's not legitimate and authentic. And if somebody else, we have proven that it is legitimate. And they'll just go on and on and on.
And they make money every time they say
Well, they
something.
do. But the root cause tooth, I think, is somewhat, Josh, in the fact that these people who have been trained there is no God, they're going to fight tooth and nail with anything that would even come close to hinting that the Bible is true.
Yeah.
They're just going to do it automatically.
I always thought that it was interesting that when you find the evangelical atheist, right? They're fighting really hard to make sure that you don't believe like they don't believe. It's like
right.
why
they believe, but
why
yeah,
why are they fighting so hard?
We
for
have
that,
so many theologians or pastors out there, today would be a better word, that I don't know if they believe in anything. They really major in what they don't believe in. And again, I don't think naive. I think a lot of this stuff is not true. But I think in the same way, it at least intrigues me enough to look into it a little more and be intrigued by it. That's okay.
Well, let me ask you this: how legit do you think the government files are that they just released?
Who knows? Who really knows?
Yeah, you don't want to put a number on it, huh?
No, I don't. I know I wasn't impressed with what I saw and heard
So Trump
in this first round.
Trump made the call, right, to release these. Probably, I'm guessing. Does he even know? You know what I mean? I mean, that's the thing. Like, does he even know the truth? Yeah,
I think if I was president, and Barack even said, he said, I've never seen them, Like,
But he said they exist.
but I think if I was president, I'd be like, let's go see it. Like, you could do anything you wanted. Why wouldn't you go?
Yeah. I think that they hide it from them.
Hmm.
Because the president's in office for 4 years.
It's true.
And why would why
true.
would the CIA, if the CIA knows, why would they tell the president? And I know that technically he's in charge, but like, come on.
Yeah.
Well, I stand in the middle on so many issues going, that's intriguing. I'd like to look into it more. But also when the skeptics come out of the woodwork, I go, I'm not so sure you're right either. I'm not really sure on some of these issues. And it might be a mixture of truth and false
Well,
Yeah.
stuff.
to bring it back to the practical, because that's where I like to live. Sorry, I try to live. There's never been a time in history where it's been more important for us to stay focused on the simple commandments of God. Love the Lord God with all your heart, soul, and mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. Because I think anything outside of that is a distraction from where we should be. I think it's really that simple. I think Jesus made it simple. Like today, I'm getting hungry. I'm thinking about lunch, and I'm like, where do I go? And it always pops in my mind. In and out always pops in my mind because it's simple. It's like I don't have to go and use my energy to make a decision on what to get. It's like I know what I'm gonna get if I go to In and Out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just like I like to simplify things, but it is fun to talk about this stuff. It's interesting. Mm-hmm. I think we do need to probably think about how to handle the confusion though that could happen based on all this stuff. I do think that's important because I think a lot of people will be confused, and who knows what kind of offshoots and side religions people are going to try to
that's true.
Create. I believe in Jesus and the green people. It's like,
well, again, it could fall into the category of worshiping angels that we're warned about.
Yeah, good.
But let me just take us down another rabbit hole, since we're already down one over here. Let's go down another one. Explain to me this, and again, I'm not saying there's anything to it at all, but I said this on the podcast a couple years ago or whenever it was when we talked about this same topic. But your mother and I, and she's a witness to this, traveled up and down California several times to go to Oregon and Washington. And we like road trips. We don't like to fly all the time. And she will tell you, I got freaked out every time we got near Mount Shasta. And I told your mothers, I don't get it. I don't want to see that mountain. I can't wait. I will not stop anywhere around here. I want that mountain gone, Debbie. I keep looking in my rearview mirror. Oh, doggone, it's still there. And then you're driving down the road. It's on this side of the street and then on that side of the street. And you're like, I hate it. I hate it. And I told her one day, I said, if I believed in reincarnation, I died on that mountain. Something about that mountain's evil. Now, at that time, I knew nothing, absolutely nothing about Mount Shasta and all the stuff that's being said today. Legends go way back, and I did not know that. When much of the native Indians lived around there, and take it for whatever it's worth, but there's supposed to be according to the legends, there's supposed to be a hidden underground city called Talos, inhabited by the Lemurians, and their survivals of a lost continent. They built the city. The mountain is considered by some of these people to be a sacred energy vortex, a portal to another dimension. Demons, aliens, spacecrafts, lizard people disappearing on the mount, hiking, people in the know, and all of a sudden they're gone. These beings are supposed to be technologically advanced. And all I am saying, I'm reporting the facts. I'm not trying to make an issue out of it. I believe there is a lot of demonic activity around that mountain because of the people it's attracting. There's cults and there's all kinds of stuff going on, crystals. I think it would be safe to say that I'm probably one of the more spiritually sensitive individuals because of my vocation and because I've had a lot to do with delivering people from demons and all that. I think I can pick it up pretty well. Mm-hmm. What was I picking up all those years before I knew anything about this? That's a question in my mind that's big to be answered. And again, it might not have anything to do with anything but there's cultic people and all kinds of weird stuff going up at that mountain, and I could discern it when I went by. I don't know what I believe about this city, supposedly discovered by a prospector in 1904, and he said it had tunnels, hieroglyphics, 9-foot mummies all in there, and then he died. And so again, so much of this stuff is just a bunch of
died.
made up. Yeah, they all died, just like the 12 scientists.
I know, right?
Hello.
That's what I'm saying.
But again, here's where I want to make a turn. Why is there so much infatuation with aliens, underground cities? There's so much infatuation with 7 and 9 foot giants, and these could be aliens, and what if aliens really existed? That would blow all of our minds. But why aren't we infatuated with the demons? If you're infatuated with that, we know that the demons are real, and we know they really existed, and we know Genesis 6 is really real. I mean, there's absolutely zero infatuation with that, and we know that's real.
Right.
So I don't get it. I mean, it doesn't overly infatuate me, although I am intrigued by the stories. Don't anybody out there go say, Pastor Ron said on a podcast that he believes in all this stuff. No, I don't believe in probably the majority of it, but I do think it's interesting to talk about because there might be a little truth tidbits in some of this because it could be demonically orchestrated. So with that in mind, why do people look at us and go, oh, you believe in demons? When they're out there playing with the idea of aliens, which could be related to demons if they prove to be true, we might someday, maybe let's say 2 years from today, be sitting here going, wow, we really thought that these aliens might exist, and the whole time it was China. It was Russia. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. That's the truth, is we don't know. And that's what makes it tough. But, I do think it's a little bit more than just, I don't think any other government is fully involved. Maybe some of these, some of these aircrafts are government related. You can't, say all of them are aliens and all of them aren't. Right. But I do think that they know that something else is out there, and I think they're just waiting to tell us. And again, these next files that are going to drop, like why didn't they just release everything they had? Why are they dropping it in segments?
Cats on the roof.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make sense just to say, well, here's a little bit of it, and then we'll tell you more in 6 months from now.
That's an interesting question, Vince. Why are they doing this in segments?
I don't know, but you guys remember their soda company?
Which one? What?
Shasta Soda. You guys remember that?
Shasta Soda. Yeah, that's right.
That was some good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you told me before the podcast that AI's in the Bible. They talk about AI. They don't.
Right.
It's not just symbolic.
And I don't want to give it away. So you guys gotta go in your Bible app and search it.
AI is in the Bible,
It's
named
there.
specifically.
It's there.
It's a city.
It's a place. Check it out.
City of the AI.
That's right.
That's the thing.
right.
I don't think none of this surprises God, and that's where I have to sit. Like, you could be fearful, and you could think, "Oh, where's the truth?" Or what if I'm missing something big? And the fact of none of this still surprises God, and the Bible still comes back to the simplicity of the whole thing. Of it doesn't change what I do today. I'm still going to go home. I'm going to make my life, try to bring God glory in everything that I can do. I'm going to raise my family. I mean, all of that.
This is interesting. All right, just to throw. This is something I would never preach, but this is fun to look at. So AI is in the Bible, right? And then it's a city next to close to Bethel.
Jericho.
Bethel too, right?
Yeah.
And Abraham pitched his tent between AI and Bethel. AI, if you were to take it as today's meaning, which is artificial intelligence, and then Bethel means house of God. And so it's like that's kind of like where we're at right now, in the middle of the artificial and the true and the real. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are like, which direction are we going to go? But they're playing with this artificial stuff, and it's going to get dangerous. I just think it is. I mean, I use chat for silly things, here and there, but I'm careful with it. I don't. It's not where I'm finding all my truth. One of the biggest issues they said with AI right now, with things like ChatGPT, is that it always agrees with you. Right? Like, it always agrees with you. My wife and I had an argument last night, and we were asking, I think it was like Alexa or something, and it was AI based. And she was agreeing with me, and my wife was like, that's not true. That's not true. And I was like, this is the problem with AI, is it's always agreeing with you. And it wants to have a good rapport. It wants to have a good rapport with you, which is really interesting because in therapy school they teach you how to build rapport with people.
Yeah.
And you don't want to correct them, and you don't want to say that's wrong. You
Right.
don't want to say, And so AI has been designed to do that.
Well, think about that. What you just said, that's huge, and a lot of people need to hear this. These apps are designed to keep you going back to them.
Yeah.
Not to keep you away from them. I just heard the most intriguing thing about the dating app. It was like one of the bigger dating apps.
Oh, you're looking at dating apps. So here it starts right here.
I said I heard an intriguing thing about a dating app. I'm not looking at dating apps.
No.
But one of the things that they said was it's not designed to find you a mate. It's designed to keep you going back to the dating app. And I thought that was so interesting. So it matches you up with somebody that's not completely compatible with you or whatever. I'm not saying people don't find people on dating apps,
right.
but the goal isn't to get you off of it. The goal is to keep you going to it.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't work, is that reputation going to follow them going, hey, they just keep bringing you back. They're not really delivering.
But that's my point is it's deceptive. They want you to keep going back. And so, again, I'm not saying people can't find people through that because I've heard of great stories.
Right.
But the point is that, like you said, Josh, is to keep you going back. And so, we just have to look through those things. Again, the deception part of it, when I think about aliens, when you think about aliens or UFOs and they came down and they said, hey, we have a new truth. And we're going to tell. I think most people would buy that new truth if it was convenient for their lives, if it made their lives better.
Right.
They would say, "You're right. That
Yeah.
will make my life better. I'm going to follow that." And that's the problem, and not knowing.
It's the lobster in the boiling pot of water. That's what's happening right now. It's like the heat is being turned up, and we're just going along with it until it's too late. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, going back to what you said, I never really thought about it. But I was in conversation the other day, and I said something, and somebody said, well, they corrected me. They said, well, here's what AI says. And I said, well, I talked to AI yesterday, and they told me something different than they just told you.
Yeah.
And so that's something that's interesting.
It's very interesting. Yeah.
The fact that you guys are both saying you are talking to AI is just also a mind blow,
I
right?
don't
It's
ta-
like,
well, I
no,
guess
I'm just
Alexa,
saying, I
technically,
asked
yeah.
AI and I asked AI. It's just, it's weird because
Series AI.
right? But I'm
It
just
all
saying,
is.
we do trust these sources, and
Well,
like
right now, I'm like, how do I cook my steak? And
Sure.
it'll tell me how to do it,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, that's great. But then there's a point where it's like, I've heard of people saying, should I date this person? And it's like, nah, you should probably break up with that person based on what you're telling me, whatever. I'm like, people are allowing this artificial intelligence that's been trained by humans, who have probably been trained by demons, who knows, right? To basically make big life choices, and that's scary. That's very, very, very scary. But the need for listening to God, the need for prayer, the need for coming to God becomes less and less as the technology increases. And to me, that's Tower of Babel, where God had to intervene mightily.
But are we not possibly being set up for deception?
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
And that's what's going to happen in the last days.
Yep.
Going to be great deception on the earth.
And it makes you wonder, like, I've always wondered, like, how there could be a mass disruption of people's thinking, a mass deception, right? I've always wondered how that could happen. But now with the internet, with AI, all this stuff, it's like, oh, that's how it happens.
How many times a day do you think is God real Googled?
A lot.
I don't know.
Just take a guess.
I have no idea.
It's in the thousands. Yeah, it's the tens of thousands of times a day, right?
Okay,
That
right.
this thing. So think about it. People are going not to people. They're not going to you. They're not going to me. They're going to Google and asking, which is also has an AI bot built in.
Right.
Is God real? And it's giving them the answer based upon what they have.
Yeah.
And so that's
based
my
upon,
point.
Based upon the culmination of information
right.
from the world that people have
Or
posted,
whatever they programmed for it to say.
or whatever they programmed. Yeah.
Right. So that's my point is that we come to a place where, we're not asking human we're not having human interaction anymore.
Right.
We're asking, AI or we're asking Google like, hey, is God real?
Yeah.
And it's giving us the answer we want. And so again, it's convenience over truth.
Right.
And we've accepted the convenience because it doesn't, because our truth doesn't line up sometimes because we don't want to know the truth.
Well, we
don't
also
want to get better sometimes.
We also have a fear of being left behind in society,
Sure.
right? And we have much less of a fear being left behind with God.
That's your summer book, by the way.
So.
Is God real?
Is God real?
Is God real?
That's a good title. Be interesting.
If you use it, you have to pay this podcast royalties. I'm just going to throw it out there.
You've
We just claimed
authenticated
it.
the statement right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
That's funny.
Is God real?
But can, like all this talk of aliens, if finally everybody believes and the rapture happens, couldn't they just say,
Right.
well, hey,
I thought
we
that
all,
when I was a kid, man.
it's
I
all
was
going
like,
to be aliens.
that's what people are gonna think.
Have to justify it in something.
I was a
Yeah.
weird kid, so
You're just what you're thinking about?
yeah.
Yeah. I think I was thinking about He-Man. Which, the new He-Man movie, you think that looks good? No? Have you seen it?
I
You haven't even seen a
paid
preview?
attention.
The 80s kid, man. I thought you'd be on it.
No, I wasn't into He-Man.
Really? It's right. It's like a little bit past
I was a
me.
G.I. Joe guy
It's pretty good,
and
too.
Ninja Turtles.
That's like 90s, but yeah.
Well,
Ninja Turtles are good.
No, it was 80s, bro.
Late 80s? Ninja
yeah.
Turtles?
Ninja Turtles
Donatello?
was 80s. Yes,
Oh, I don't know.
I do
Huh.
because I was.
I remember
was
being
young.
8 and 9. Yeah, it would have been, you're right. It would have been like 88, 89, 90. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like the OG ones, right?
No, yeah. I mean, there's only, I don't know if they're what the un-OG ones are, but.
So talking about green men in full circle.
Full circle.
Back to green men.
We haven't heard the phrase green men lately, have we?
84.
That's crazy.
No. We're green men. Have you heard anybody lately say that? Wasn't that something we said a lot decades ago?
I don't know.
When
It
we
was
referred
little
to
green men, yeah, little green
little
men.
green men. We
Yeah, I've
referred
heard
to
that.
these space guys.
I
Maybe-
haven't seen a picture of a little green guy on a shirt in a
Maybe
while.
they were offended. They're like, we're not little. We're not green.
Little green men.
While
Yeah,
you
so they're
guys were,
communist.
while you were talking about,
Figured that out.
while he's talking about Mountain Shasta,
Uh-huh.
I Googled, do you grow or shrink in space? And I found out
Why? This is the ADHD. This is the ADHD.
because I wanted to find out,
Episode.
like, could you possibly grow or shrink? Because they always say like people from like outer space are smaller,
Uh-huh.
and then we were talking about giants, but I found out while you guys were talking that we grow 2 inches in space.
Just in general.
So my space height is 6'1". Just I want to throw that out there.
Boy.
So if you go there and you'll grow 2 inches and then you'll come back and you'll be taller.
No, they say you shrink
you
back
shrink
over.
back.
You shrink back over
Ah,
time.
That's a bummer.
See, I told you we do this.
That's a bummer.
This is what we do.
But tell me you didn't want to know that. It's
That
pretty
is
crazy.
interesting.
It's worth a trip to space.
It is. Maybe that's why the aliens don't stay here because they're like, man,
They're shrinking.
you go there, you get smaller. It's not okay.
It's not okay. Yeah.
Because all the women aliens prefer tall men aliens.
I think the one case that really blows me away is that case in Las Vegas. Remember that case in Las Vegas?
Yeah,
Yes,
I do.
that is weird.
Sorry, the rails are over here and I'm over here right now.
You know what's weird about that case is it went away fast.
It did.
The Vegas?
The Vegas one.
Yeah.
They just like swept there like that.
It
didn't
went away
happen.
fast, and that family now has a mansion out in Henderson.
Yeah, visitors every day.
They live
Yeah.
on top of the Luxor. Actually,
Yeah,
is what I've
yeah,
heard.
right. Yeah, they just got a bunch of money.
Well, I think I know where some's at if we want to go look into it.
aliens. Mount Shasta? Yeah, I'm not going to Mount Shasta. It's too far.
Crazy.
All right. Well, that was a fun one.
All right.
We done?
Take it with a
Okay.
grain of salt, gang.
All right. I gotta go eat. I'm starving.
Okay.
I'm gonna go feed my belly. All right. See you guys.
Okay, love you.
You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel alright. The kind you wanna stay up with all night. You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel whole. They won't leave your side when you lose control. The ones that don't let you lose your soul.